Are being recorded.
Yeah, the recorder is on.
You're welcome to say,
Say boo.
so whatever you like. And
Good to see you. So nice to see
Yeah.
you.
Hi, Ann. No, I'm Liz. Amy's back here.
Amy and Courtney.
Hi, nice to
Nice
meet you.
to meet you. We've certainly chatted.
Yes,
yes.
Second time I've almost felt bad today.
I was really ready.
Don't worry, I think I bought a mug with a top on for the elections.
Meet is currently not online yet on the phones, but I will let you know when he hops on.
Great, thank
Okay.
you. Take my hat off.
Okay.
are you ready?
Yep.
Ready to roll? Good. Good morning. I'm Lauren Link, the Vice Chairman of the Anchorage Election Commission, and I call this meeting to order. And just note that I'm serving as chair today because Lisa Torkelson, who is our valued member of the commission, is no longer on the commission. At the, we'll say, at the decision of the mayor and the, I guess it wouldn't have been the assembly if it didn't come before the assembly, but since she's off, then I, as vice chairman today, will chair this meeting. We have present. Do you want to call the roll, or should I just indicate who's here?
How? I can call
Liz,
her. I can.
Liz, why don't you?
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you call it?
Okay. Commissioner Lehman is here. Commissioner Treadwell? No? Okay. Commissioner Nolan?
Here.
And Commissioner Courtney. You have a quorum.
Thank you. We had to do the pledge, so when Commissioner Treadwell is online. So please join us. Okay, the next, well, I think we should at least acknowledge the agenda that has been proposed. Is there any objection to following the agenda that has been prepared by staff? You had a chance to look at it and see, okay? Without objection, we'll follow the agenda. And next would be the minutes of the previous meetings. I have looked through them. They're fairly comprehensive. A number of things. It was primarily for our public session of canvas way back in last May. And you weren't, I should have welcomed you. Ann Courtney is a new member, and welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy it. But the agenda, the minutes are primarily for that meeting, and we need to act on approving them. Should be, well, they're before us. Is there, I guess we could do it by motion or just without objection. If it's before us, is there any objection to adopting the minutes? Okay, without objection, the minutes that have been prepared would be adopted by the commission.
Mr. Lehman, if you can make it a motion, please.
So you'd rather do it that
It has
way?
to be by a motion.
Okay, we're going to just back up a little bit, and Commissioner Nolan, you want to move to accept the minutes and to approve them?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Is there any objection to the motion to approve? Hearing none, the motion carries and the minutes are approved. That brings us to old business. Is there any old business that we need to take before the commission today?
I did do some playing around with advertising. We talked about an advertising.
Correct, you talked to Secretary Tracy, she went to the Coast Guard. Now, the Coast Guard is zero knowledge.
Okay, I'll try that again. I played around with some ideas on advertising. I don't
Just
know.
really quick for the record, Miss Nolan, just Commissioner Treadwell has joined us on the phone.
Oh, good.
That's
Welcome,
what it was.
welcome, Commissioner Treadwell. We are on agenda item number 4, which is old business, and Commissioner Nolan is just starting to talk on that. Well, could you just go ahead and state your name or say something just so we confirm that you're with us? Is he muted?
He is muted.
He's muted.
He's off.
He just hung up.
Could you unmute it?
I think he just dropped off.
He just
Yeah.
dropped.
Oh. Okay, well, Commissioner Noel will go ahead and then we'll try to get an audio connection, affirmation when
Well,
we can.
my concern is, and we talked about it last time, the idea that we really need to catch the public's attention onto how to make sure your ballot counts. It disturbed all of us to see so many rejected votes. People take the trouble to try to vote, not understanding or not paying enough attention and having their vote not count was extremely disturbing to all of us. And I thought about a public campaign that centered on the big lettered words, "Your vote will not count," on the side of buses, in newspaper ads, in radio ads, and the reasons that your vote will not count would catch the attention of the general public, hopefully, and make them think about learning how to do it right. And I was going to show this. Unfortunately, I forgot to make copies of it. My apologies. But the idea that an attention grabber to try to get the message out in coordination with messages that y'all put out would possibly increase at least awareness of what it takes to make a vote count. We're going to all the trouble to return a ballot. The other thing that I thought was interesting is in the paper last week, I don't know how many of us read, there was a story about the rise in mail vote-in voting comes with a price as mismatched signatures lead to ballot rejections. Did everybody see that article last week? No. Okay. It was the same thing. It's a nationwide problem on mail-in voting, and different municipalities are handling it different ways. Looks like from the article, what the article had to say is that a lot of the municipalities and cities are going to is including either a social security number, passport number, something that's proof of who you are with your ballot. Now, we don't have that abilities. So what we have to do is find a way to raise attention. And a big "Your Vote Will Not Count" campaign may do that.
Okay, just on a quick look at this, I would say these are all accurate statements except for the third one out of the 5. If somebody signs differently from normal, it's not that their vote will not count. It may not count unless they come and cure it. There's some way to ensure that was indeed their vote. So that's the only one that I wouldn't want to say your vote won't count if you sign differently from normal, because it may. And there may be a way to get there. But otherwise, these other things, yeah, you're right. It won't count if you mailed it in too late, or if you, if you don't use the envelope provided.
To jolt people into thinking about the procedures that they have to go through.
Are you looking for action today, or you just want to
I wanted to discuss it and
continue the
see if,
discussion.
because we've got an election in April, we'll start seeing campaign things come out in, well, very soon. I think I saw one on the way here, actually. But we'll be sending ballots out in
Ballots
on the
get
calendar here, right?
ballots are mailed out on the 11th of March.
So we ought to be ready to go before that time, have everything set, if this is what we're gonna do. When do you generally start advertising?
Yes, so if I may, we've already started. So I want to, I guess, lay out a little bit about what we do at the Election Center, especially now, since candidate filing is now upon us. So it is my responsibility as the election administrator to do all of the advertising. So there are different levels of advertising that we go through. We need to make people aware that there's an election. Voters are still confused that sometimes there's an election in the spring. But we're making people aware of that now. Ads have already been purchased with the radios. Our vacancy notice in the paper has already gone out, noticing that there is a vacancy. There will be 2 other notices that go in the paper that are different from what you're talking about, but it's still notifying people that there's an election and who's on the ballot and what's on the ballot. Then we have a set of press releases that go out to every news agency about various important topics. We just sent one out about candidate filing opening. We'll send another one out about candidate filing closing. We will then communicate to voters through that avenue about registration deadlines, the multiple ways they can return ballots. I think, I'm going to write it down now. If there isn't one, I do want to do a press release about curing, because curing is very important. But I have gone to the last election. I went to the media outlets to express my interest in doing a news story on curing, and all the major news outlets actually picked up on it. So we are actively informing voters about what to do if you receive a letter and you're for a cure letter. We have various options for people to cure their ballot. So not only can they not only can they send in the letter to cure, but they can come in person, they can email us, they can call us and give us verifiers over the phone, they can use text to cure. So we have multiple options for people to cure. And we recognize that we want the curing numbers to come down to. So that's why, the rejection numbers to come down to. That's why we have implemented all of these processes in order to try to combat those numbers, to bring them down. I will again go forward to the news agencies this year to put probably more than 1 or 2 stories out about curing, because I want it to be in front of the news as much as possible. We also do a lot of social media advertising on the clerk's Facebook page and the Instagram page, where we do send out a bunch of communications about deadlines as well. We will continue calling voters this year who have not cured their ballot. We will call everyone that gives us a phone number on their...
And email them.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
We're going to call everyone that provides us a number on their ballot return envelope, and we will email everyone that provides an email on their ballot return envelope. Not everybody wants to provide that information for one reason or another, but for the people that we do have the information for, we will be contacting them. We will be leaving messages to make sure that they do cure. But these are going to be, the people that we can reach. They're going to be the no-sig matches. They're going to be the people who don't have a signature in the database for one reason or another. And then also to talk about the mismatch signatures a little bit, we are developing our own signature database on our end. So hopefully that will also help cure some of these various signatures, because the idea behind it is we will have people's various signatures on file, so long as that we know that those are the voters. Because we do recognize that people's signatures change. When I'm talking to the news agencies or doing tours and I am talking about signatures, I show my ID and how horrible that signature is. And I think I might have even showed all of you, except for maybe you, Ann. But, it is something that we are aware of. It is something that we are trying to address I will take into consideration some of these ideas. I'm just concerned with this election and the budget cycle. We might not have the budget for like bus ads or stuff like that, but I am more than willing to work with the commission to figure out other forms of communication that we might use for this election and then move forward to next year in looking at other advertising avenues. So I believe before I took over, there was buses were looked at one point.
William, what I'm getting at is an essential message to get people's attention. When you're talking about, you're obviously got a nice broad spectrum of ideas and places you're hitting, but a central message is what's needed. The message needs to be heard at least 3 times by people before it'll sink in. And we know that from teaching. You have to go through something 3 times. The central message, not just the selection day, not just the ballot hearing, but a central message. Your vote's not going to count unless you follow the way that it has to be done.
And to that, yes, I hear what you're saying. And like I said, I'm more than happy to work with you guys on trying to figure out what is needed. But I will also say that we do have communications about your vote not counting if certain aspects are not followed in basically every single one of our communications. But yes, I do, I think this year I do want to, if there's not one already, I want to put together a press release about this issue. I mean, I talk about curing because they both go hand in hand. Your vote's not going to count if you don't cure it. That's just a simple fact. So I think both go hand in hand, but I think, we can do a press release. We can talk about it on social media. I can pitch more of these messages in front of the news agencies. I'm totally fine with that. And then we can, consider what other avenues we want to look at too for messaging.
In the light of William's response to what they're actually right now doing and plan to do, and perhaps take your ideas, incorporate into anything that might change, is there any other action that you want to pursue other than raise the idea? I'm going to pass this on to you.
Thank you.
I had
Thank
a
you.
comment on the third of the fifth one, and I know you understand.
Okay.
Understand that. Okay. Is there any other anything else under old business that we need to consider? Okay. Let me just check right now as we go into the next item. This will be important. Is Commissioner Treadwell online? Can you hear us?
He's not on the line.
But he was.
He was, and he dropped off.
Can we try to get him on, please?
So, through the chair, he had called me and said that he was going to be in another meeting at 10 o'clock and he was going to try and call in. It's my understanding he may be in that other meeting right now, and so I'm not sure when he's going to call back in.
His email said 11.
He called me right before, about 5 minutes before this meeting started, and he told me that it got pushed to 10 o'clock.
Be at ease for just a few minutes. Let's see if I can-
Excuse me, before we move on,
But-
perhaps Commissioner Nolan could make copies of what you had today
We can
can
make
make
that for
copies.
you.
and
Yeah,
email
yeah.
them to us. That would be great.
This
Thank
is
you.
page 2 to make that work.
Perfect. Thank you.
We're at ease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we looked at press ads, and I don't know. I think because we were worried it was.
That was my concern. We need to make it positive.
Yeah.
I think they can do try to pitch more stories and potentially do a press release about it because I don't think we have think would be smart. Because I think we've just been using press releases, recycling them past ever, however many years. So it's like, I want to do a press release on those postcards next year. So, I don't know.
We can look into those again.
Yeah. Conversation should be on the record, right?
Yeah, but what they're talking about. Do you want to mosey over there?
It's a meeting.
Do you want to mosey over there?
Just a reminder, if this is a meeting conversation, it does have to take place on.
We're not,
But
we're just talking about me.
okay.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, any meeting topic has got to be on the record.
Yep.
It was just, I was just explaining the process.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, we did email them to you
Hopefully
back
you'll be
on.
back on in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Possibly.
We can hang out because we did email you all about this on the 25th of November. So
I'm surprised by this because he told me he would be online.
Oh, sounds like he's on, right? Is he here? He sounds like he's on.
Commissioner Treadwell, are you online?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Yes.
I apologize.
Okay, we'll try to, okay, I'm going to bring us back to order. We've been at ease for just 2 or 3 minutes, waiting for you. Welcome to the commission meeting. We have present myself, Warren Lehman, Commissioner Katie Nolan, and new Commissioner Ann Courtney is with us. So there are 4 on the commission, and welcome me to our meeting. That brings us to the next item on the agenda, which is new business, and the first item is to elect chair and vice chair. I welcome nominations for chair. Commissioner Treadwell?
I'd like to nominate Keith Nolan for chair.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations will close and we will vote. All in
You may
favor?
need a second, Warren.
We need a second on nominations? I don't think we need a second,
Okay.
not for nominations.
I think the only thing that we would need is to ensure that Commissioner Nolan accepts the nomination.
Okay, Commissioner Nolan has indicated that she would accept the nomination. So now we have a vote. Should we call the roll? Might as well. do
Sure.
that. Okay.
Commissioner Lehman,
Yes.
Commissioner Treadwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Nolan, and then Commissioner Courtney.
Yes.
You can end by a vote of 4-0. Commissioner Nolan is elected chair. I'll give you a choice. You want to start chairing now or after this meeting? Okay. I will remain. That brings us to the vice chairman. I'll just say I've served as that, which means that on the times, and I hope they're very infrequent, when Commissioner Nolan can't chair the meeting, and then I or whoever would be vice chairman would do that. I'm willing to do that and serve in that function, provided.
Chair, do you need to be nominated?
Yes.
Year and have to nominate.
Yes, Commissioner Treadwell, would you like to nominate?
Just did. Nominate.
I second it, it's needed.
Okay.
And I'll accept.
Perfect.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations will cease, and we will have a vote. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Lehman,
Yes.
Commissioner Treadwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Nolan,
Yes.
Commissioner Courtney.
Yes.
Thank you. On a 4-0 vote, Commissioner Lehman is elected vice chair. That brings us to item B, the election calendar.
So, Katie.
And could you explain what you want us to, are we to approve it or just be aware?
So before we continue, now that there is a new chair and vice chair, it is my understanding that Commissioner Nolan now needs to take over the meeting as the new chair. But on that note, it's just going over the calendar. The calendar has already been approved by legal, and it's already out it's on the website. It's been handed to all the departments within the municipality, and it's going to be going to all of the candidates who file for office. And all of these are code driven. So basically, if you haven't seen one of these calendars before, it's got the date, it's got the action, and the code reference that drives that action. So I think I'm not going to go over. Do I have to go over everything? Okay. So I'm not going to go over everything on this calendar, but I do want to highlight the dates that are important and upcoming. So January 10th, so this Friday, filing for office opens at 8 p.m.
8 a.m.
8 a.m., sorry. Then on January 24th, filing for office closes at 5 p.m. The last day to withdraw from the ballot is January 28th. And then the last day to register to vote is March 2nd, which is a Sunday. And then ballot packages will go out on the 11th. Our secure drop boxes will open on the 12th. Our vote centers will open on March 25th. And then it will be Election Day on April 1st. And then there will be a commission meeting and public session to canvass held on April 17th. And let me grab the times for that.
So 2 to 4 is the work session, and then 5 is the public.
So the work session will be from 2 to 4 p.m. on April 17th, and then the public session of canvass will be held from 5 to 7 p.m. or until finished. And then certification will take place on April 22nd. And not on this calendar. I want to highlight a couple dates for the commission. Maybe. So tomorrow we are having the random letter drawing for the order that the candidates will show up on the ballot. That will be held here at 1 p.m. Okay. Logic and accuracy testing will be held on February 27th from 10 a.m. until 1 or complete.
February 27th.
Starting at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And we have it scheduled till 1 p.m. or until complete. And that, again, for anyone new or anyone listening, is when we test all of the election equipment.
The scanning and tabulation.
And so the scanning and tabulation computers. Then what's the other one? Another one in there? And then RLA, so that's the risk limiting audit, takes place after the election. And so it's after the canvass as well. Okay, there it is. It's on Friday the 18th, starting at 9 a.m. And again, that will go until 1 p.m. or until complete.
You said Friday the 18th. Did you say what month?
April
So
18th.
it's one day after the public session counts?
Yep. So it's when we audit the count.
Yeah.
It all goes into the certification documents. But those are not code driven, so that's why they're not on this calendar, but they're good for everyone to know.
It's just before I release control of the meeting to the new chair. Are there any questions from commissioners on the calendar? There's no action required by us, but become aware that all of these dates are important. But for us, I would say the most important are, of course, voting, but to be sure to block out the dates for the work session and the public session of Canvas. I have participated in the logic in testing, and especially for you, Commissioner Courtney, if you haven't ever done that, it's education. To participate in that, I think would be a good thing, and I encourage you to do so. And in fact, all of us, if we can, to be available for that. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the calendar? Thanks for your presence.
Oh,
You want to take control now, and we have just member comments, public comment, and adjournment.
I have never seen it have changed in the meeting. Is that standard practices in this commission?
yes. It's for, I think, all boards and commissions. As soon as there's a new commission, well,
They do it at the assembly level too.
it's, yeah, right, they can, yeah. So yeah, it takes place as soon as a new chair and vice chair are elected.
You can avoid it if you go step out of this building. But then the minutes would so indicate, and you'd look deficient.
All right. All right, then we will go to item 6, member comments. Mr. Lehman?
I will just comment that I've enjoyed working with all of the members on the commission. Lisa Torkelson was a valued member, and really appreciate her inputs. And if there's some way we can send a thank you, it doesn't need to be too formal, maybe, or just send a note, maybe you already have, but maybe tell her that the commission expresses its appreciation for her service, and welcome Commissioner Courtney to the commission as well. And of course, Commissioner Treadwell and I have been on this now for, I don't know, a few years, and Commissioner Nolan was about a year for you, so a year and a half, maybe something like that. Welcome. I appreciate that. So those are my comments. This is an important commission in Anchorage, and we really appreciate the staff willing to do your work, and all the other staff in elections to conduct elections that are fair, honest, transparent, and provide the maximum opportunity for voters to participate in an exercise that's very important. And that's what I want. I think that's what all of us on the commission want.
Thank you. Commissioner Treadwell, do you have comments?
No comment.
Commissioner Courtney?
No comment, thank you.
All right, then, my comments. Do we have meeting dates for this commission? Can we decide those now while we're all here?
So,
Is there a certain day of the week, day of the month that works so that we can all be together for these meetings?
so are you, I guess for clarification purposes, are you requesting that we meet more frequent?
Yes.
Or, okay. So because the only date that we have currently in the calendar is that April 17th date for the work session and then public session of Canvas. I'm not opposed to meeting more frequent. I think if we are provided topics to talk upon, that would be ideal, because we are again, entering into our busy season. I know the next month is going to be a little chaotic for the whole team in general.
And March. We can't meet here in March.
And we'll be training all the teams in mid-April into March. So it'll be a little tight, but if that is the will of the commission, we can make something work.
I think it's important for us to stay up to on all of these details so that we're not just coming in after something's done. I would like to be aware of what's happened and what's coming up so that we understand fully the responsibilities that we have.
Okay?
Mr.
If I could
Lehman.
just comment on this. I think it's worthy for the commission to be involved, be knowledgeable, offer guidance. One of our objectives is to offer recommendations to the Assembly on election law, for example. And we have raised some issues in the past. It seems like every election cycle something comes up, and then at the time we say, well, we need to pass this on as our recommendation. If there are topics like that for a work session, then I think it's totally appropriate for us to do that. I'm like William, I don't need meetings for the sake of having meetings, but if we do generate topics that would be appropriate for us to advance, either to change how elections are done, or maybe to advise the Assembly on what we think ought to be done, then we can work on scheduling. Right now, I don't know that any of us are prepared to offer dates and topics, but maybe to indicate that we're open to doing that, probably in light of how busy things will be here in the next few months, probably after April 17th would be my suggestion. I mean, unless there's some topics that really need to be addressed before that. And then that gets us in the summer, maybe, which it's difficult to lasso any of us in the summer. But I guess it's possible that we could, because after an election is fresh on our minds, do it in May. That sometime in May might be possible. Anyway.
Thank you. Mr. Treadwell, what's your feelings? Mr. Treadwell, are you available?
Please don't.
Yeah, I'm available, I apologize. Now, you now have like a big attention.
Thank you, sir. Do you have feelings one way or the other about meetings?
So, just looking at the calendar, the only concern I've got is, we were on with that 2 years ago, but the same week we're doing certification in April is, I think I got chewed at by one constituent for having to fly out and got all flower at 10 o'clock that night. And on the last election, we were able to schedule the certification meeting earlier. But I think that's the assembly meeting. Our candidate meeting is before that, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, if it's the 17th, that's fine. So, I won't be chewed out by that constituent for leaving my post at 9:30 at night. Is the other issue on when we might need to go over some other issue?
Do you feel that more meetings during the election season, not waiting until afterwards, would keep us more in tune with what's happening?
I'm very happy to be during the election season. I think, I mean, we've got this issue, we don't know if we have a special election or not. I told Amy before the meeting that there's a possibility that I might have to recuse myself on that just because I do a lot of work on tax issues. And I'm not retained by any client. I just did kind of advocated to legislative or assembly members of all stripes to, follow the tax count. And so that if this thing does something different than the tax count, it might be most prudent for me to do that, and I'm making that statement on the record now. And in that and having some sort of meeting to go over what's going on with the assembly races, I'm very happy to. But I don't, and especially because we have new commissioners, it may be a good thing to have a short meeting.
Thank you, Sarah. Ms. Courtney, since you're a new commissioner, what's your feeling?
I certainly have no objection to a work session. Excuse me, provided there's a need and provided that it doesn't interfere with the election process with the staff's time.
Can I make a couple suggestions? So, couple suggestions. One, any member of the commission can stop in at any point during the election process. So feel free to come in and check out what's going on. I would encourage everyone to do that. And I do that with the general public too. We have nice little lanyards for you guys to specify that you're election commission members that I don't know when the last time they were used. So let's give those things some love.
Is it different from this?
No, it's the purple.
Oh, so he's using it. And the other thing that I do want to make the commission aware of, if we do want to hold a work session or something in the month after the month of February, we cannot meet here. We will have to go through the whole reservation process to reserve probably room 105 up in City Hall, which is used by the Assembly for a lot of their meetings.
55.
Oh,
155.
what did I say?
105.
Oh, 155.
Downstairs.
Yeah.
Enter down the hall.
Yes. Because 105 will be used for one of our vote centers. So that would,
Take us away.
yeah, so I want to make sure that you are aware of that, because then we won't have anyone here to oversee election staff as well. Or one of us will have to remain and not show up to the meeting. And the other thing I want to make you aware of is that if there are any Title 28 changes that need to be done, I am planning to do those sooner rather than later this summer. I will let the commission know when I'm doing those. That way, if there's any feedback on what I'm drafting, or if you have any suggestions for title changes as the body, we can have a work session and talk about that.
All right. What you're saying is that you initiate Title 28 changes.
So historically in the past, Title 28 changes are done after the election, and it's typically the election administrator who starts those. This year, like I said, we're going to do them sooner rather than later this year, just so we're not running into the budget and all that fun stuff. And there's more time immediately after the election. But yes, typically, I believe the commission, if they have any suggestions for things that need to be changed, that need to go in front of the assembly, they can call a meeting if they would like. But I'm just letting you know that I don't intend to do Title 28 changes until after the election, but sooner in the summer.
Okay. The Title 28 changes that were made October, November, when was it?
October, I believe.
I don't remember seeing the changes before they went to the assembly.
So what went before the assembly was what was provided to you all in that work session, except for a couple S version changes that were just cleanup of some language.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I really recommend that we have a public discussion on any changes to Title 28 before they go to the Assembly. And thank you very much for letting us know. You think you may have some, but It was two sets of changes ago where we weren't really consulted very well. I think we were on the last set.
Thank you,
Yep.
Mr. Trimble.
If I remember correctly, there was a meeting, I think potentially in September of this commission.
Yeah.
It was a work session to discuss the Title 28 changes that I was bringing forth.
You know, one other issue that is possibly going to the ballot is to try to have state and city elections happen at the same time. And of course, we have very different election laws in the state in terms of mail-in ballots versus non-mail-in ballots, or versus in-person ballots. Sometimes there may be some different eligibility rules. There may be some different witness rules on absentees and so forth. And when this was tried before with Assemblyman Blake Chris Birch, I was the lieutenant governor, and we tried very hard to figure out how to make it happen. I sense that's going to happen. That discussion will happen again, and what I'm hearing from one assembly member is accurate. And if that happens, Madam Chair, we may want to kind of, I'm going to put it this way, in not any kind of critical way for any of the people listening, but this was something where the bureaucracy hated the idea and the politicians wanted the idea, and we never got everybody together to figure out, okay, what could you do if it made sense? And so if that does come up, I would just say it would probably be good for us to be consulted at some point. I don't know if it will, but it's my understanding that it may come up.
Thank you, Mr. Trimble.
Who's Paul?
Any other member comments? Do we have any public comments?
If I could just go back and,
Yes.
and suggest to William, as we normally provide inputs during our discussion, like the public session of campus, things come up at that time, and we go, oh, this might be a tweak that we can do to how we do elections to make it better. I would just say, before you advance that to send to the assembly, it would be good to at least have that discussion with us, whether it's done at that work session, the public session of canvas, or perhaps fairly soon after it, but before while you're working on it. I would say just we as a commission would like to be engaged in that.
Yeah, if I may speak to that real quick. I have no intentions on leaving the commission out of these conversations. I think it is important for everyone to come together and have a conversation about code changes, any potential ones that need to be done. And I can say that one of the reasons that I want to move it sooner into the summer is that we're not running into such a crunch that we did last year. And it was my first time doing it. So I do want to take more time, and I do want to be able to have conversations with the commission to ensure, what we're doing has input from everyone. So I think starting the process sooner in the summer to hopefully get it in front of the assembly in, say, August. That way we're far away from the budget season, I think would be ideal, and it gives us a larger period of time to work within.
I would suggest May, avoid Memorial Day, weekend, and maybe a couple days or days on each side, and high school and kindergarten graduations.
I don't think I would be calling a meeting of the commission during that time.
And maybe if we have to go into just early June, but I wouldn't go much beyond the middle of June. And that probably would be the best for most of us. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. I've always, every commission board I've ever been on, changes come through the commission. Oh. Yeah. All right, any public comment?
Nobody's
Is
on.
anybody, do we have public? Okay, thank you. Anything, anybody missed, wanted to add? Mr. Treadwell?
I'll just say thanks for the notepads. I really like these. And if it doesn't increase the cost of the municipality and you have a few more, I'd be happy to take them. But
They are awesome for shopping lists. Mr. Treadwell, is there anything you'd like to add? All right, thank you. With that, then, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I got the card.